Okay, so at this point, I want us to go back to the notes from yesterday. And what I'm going to have you guys do is now that you've corrected the homework, I want you to complete number 4 as a warm up from yesterday's note sheet. So we're dealing with these notes from yesterday, and I want you to do number 4. Okay? So take about 5 minutes to do that. So you're going to press pause on the video, and once you've finished it, press play again so we can go over it. Okay, so at this point, you should have finished this question. So to do this, we know we needed to know what A is -2, and B is +4, because A is in front of the x squared, and B is in front of the x. And we always start by doing x equals -b over 2a. So we have a -4 over 2 times -2. So I recommend you type it into your calculator. So get yourself a calculator. Control divide. -4 over 2 times -2. Enter, and you get +1. So x is equal to +1. So our axis of symmetry is x equals 1. So that 1 goes in the center of our graph. Now we want to use our calculator, new document, don't save, add graph, and we want to type in our -2x squared plus 4x plus 1, hit enter, Control T, and we want to find 1, which is right here. So if x is 1, y is 3, that is my vertex. So it goes 1, 3, and that is my vertex, my center, my highest or lowest point, my maximum or my minimum. Lots of vocabulary words here. Now we go 2 above. So we have -1, -5, and 0, 1. Then we go 2 below, so 2, 1, and 3, -5. So now we want to graph this. So we go over left 1 and down 5. Then we have 0, 1. Then we have 1, 3. Then we have 2, 1. Then we have 3, -5. And then we draw a U shape. Arrows on the end and label. And then we should remember that the domain is all reals, which we can represent like this if you prefer. And then the range, the highest y value is 3, and it goes down from there. So y is less than or equal to 3. So that is how we should be graphing for these questions. Okay, so that is a refresher of what we did yesterday. And I want to continue with that, but I want to turn to this page in your notes. So if you could please, this would be right after this section of notes. I want us to look at this analyzing quadratic graphs. So we have graphs A and B, and we want to answer some questions about these two graphs. So now it says, what is the axis of symmetry for graph A? Well, to find the axis of symmetry, remember, we find the vertex, which is that point right there, the lowest or highest point. And the axis of symmetry is the equation of the line that goes through that. So that would be this right here. So that's going to be x equals, and whatever the x value is of that point, and that goes over 1, 2, so x is equal to -2. So that is the line that goes through the vertex, your highest or your lowest point. Then we have graph B. To find the axis of symmetry for graph B, here's our vertex. So our axis of symmetry goes through that. And it's going to be x equals, and it's over 1, 2, 3. So x equals 3. Now the next piece asks for what is the vertex of graph A. Well, this right here is your vertex, that lowest point here. And it's over -2, we know, from the axis of symmetry, and it's down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's -2, -5 is your vertex. And is that a maximum or a minimum? Since it is the lowest point on the graph, it's going to be your minimum. So now we want to do the same thing for the vertex for graph B. For graph B, it's your highest point, so we can answer that part right now. That's a maximum because it's the highest point and it only goes down from there. The x value of our axis of symmetry was 3, so that's the x value of our vertex. So it goes over 3 and up 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 4. So our vertex is 0, 4. Now it wants the domain and range for these graphs. The domain is always going to be all real numbers, which we can show like this. That's your domain. You can write it as the fancy R. And then we want to find our range. So here we see our lowest y value is -5, and then it goes up from there. So y has to be greater than or equal to -5 because it's increasing from that low point. From this one, it goes down from that point, so we know we're going to have y is less than or equal to, the highest point of y is 4. So y is less than or equal to 4. The last one is asking us to find out which is the equation of this graph. So what I recommend you do is I recommend you graph each one of these till you see what it looks like. Now we should be able to eliminate any two off the bat. This is going up, so x squared is positive. It's important. So that means for graph A, we can eliminate C and D because x squared is negative. Then if I look up here, I'm going down. So that means x squared is negative. So I can eliminate two answers from choice 8. I can eliminate the positive answers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calculator, I'm going to type that first one in and see if it looks like the graph that I have. So we want new document, don't save, add graph, and we're going to type in the first one, which is x squared minus 4x minus 1. Hit enter. And that is on the other side of the x-axis, if we can see. See how it goes to the right of the x-axis and this one's to the left. So that means that can't be the answer either, which means, so A can't be the answer either, so that means B has to be the answer. So now we want to do the same thing for number 8. So new document, don't save, add graph, and we're going to type in the negative x, the first choice either, negative x squared minus 6x minus 5, hit enter, and we see what it looks like. Now this time it's going to the left of the x-axis, but if we look here, we're going to the right of the x-axis, so they're the opposite of each other. So that means that what we typed in C cannot be the answer, so D has to be. Okay, so that is it for our notes for today. So what you're going to do now is you're going to go back to day 2 homework, or homework number 2, and you are going to complete questions 5 through 8. You did 1 through 4 yesterday, and you're going to do 5 through 8 today. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.